Hi, Linda Sessions here, and I'm going to do a quick tutorial on how to move around and navigate in Scratch using the CS First login site. So I just did a Google search for CS First, and now I see a screen with my lessons and instructional videos. Up here on the upper right, I'm going to click on Sign In, and I'm going to sign in as a student. I'm going to go through CS First, and now I'm going to enter my class code. Now the class code for my students is located in Blackboard in the module for the week that we're doing coding. So I'm going to click Next. And right here, you're going to come down and create a new account. Now, if you already have a username and password for the class, then you're going to do that. But that is a username and password created in Scratch. You need to create a new account. I don't know why they made this so small and so far down on the page, but this is what you need to do. So we're going to create an account. Lets you know that if you forget your username, you need to talk to your instructor. I'm going to create an account. And right here is my username and password. And I am going to write this information down because when your instructor goes in to grade in Scratch, all they see are a list of numbers. They do not see your actual name. So make sure that you write this information down and that you send it to your instructor. I wrote it down. If you're on your own computer, you can keep signed in to CS First. If you're on a public computer, I don't recommend that. Click Sign In. And here's the class. This is one of my 16-week classes. And as you can see, I give them 2 assignments in coding. I just want to whet their appetite and let them know that coding can be done by anyone, and it can be a lot of fun. So we're going to click on Animate a Name. And right here, we've got our Animate a Name assignment curriculum. Now you can come down here and see examples of what other students have done to complete this particular project. You can see right here, it lets you know that there's one lesson within this curriculum, and it will take you 1 to 2 hours to do, depending upon your experience with coding and how wrapped up you get into coding. I know when I do coding, I've set a timer because I really get excited about it. So I'm going to click on the Start button, and right away you can see there's a video, and this is a little over 2 minute video, and it's going to give you an overview of what you can expect in the course. So spend the 2 minutes and watch this video. Now right here, if English is not your first language, if you're more comfortable with Spanish, you can do everything in Spanish. I'm going to click right down here on my starter project, and you can see it opens up a new tab in my browser, Scratch for CS First. So now I have 2 tabs available. The Animate a Name, which is where my instructions are, my e-text, if you will, for coding. And now I have my actual coding project. First thing you need to do is up here where it says Untitled 1, get rid of that and type in your name. And then you're going to go to the File tab right here and do Save Now. As you're working in coding, you always, every once in a while, want to come up here to the File and Save Now. It doesn't automatically save your work for you. Now let's take a look at what we're seeing on this page right here. Starting over on the right, you get a preview pane. This is what your project is going to look like when somebody plays it. Come down here, you can see we've got Sprite. The sprite is what they call objects in Scratch. Right now, this A on the grid is at -85, 85 and on the x-axis and 26 on the y-axis. So think about this as x going crossways on your document here, and y is going up and down. Also right here is the size. We can make it bigger, we can make it smaller, and we can change the direction of it. Right here, this lets us know we're working in block A, and this is our first sprite. Now, if we want to add a different sprite, we can come down here to the Scratch Cat and select it, and then we can choose a different sprite to put in. There's all sorts of different sprites. You can see here's animals, fantasy, we got music, got sports, all sorts of different things that you can choose from. Here's food, fashion, and we actually even have letters. So I'm just going to pick a new letter to add. And you can see now I have block A and I have block M. Now I can come up here and I can just drag them around and move them on my screen. So I have entered in sprites. Over here in this larger area on your screen is where you will actually be doing your coding. Scratch uses block coding, so you don't have to learn a computer language. It's already been written for you. Right over here, clear on the left, we have our blocks of code. We've got motion code, looks, change the way everything looks. We've got sound we can add, events, control. These are the main ones that we look at right now in my class. So I've got my M selected and I want to make my M do something. So what do I do? How do I know what I'm doing? Well, I'm going to come back up here to the animated name, CS first. Remember, this is your e-text for coding. And if I scroll down on this screen, I see lots of different add-ons. It lets me know how to change color on my sprite or grow and shrink or spin. So I can go into here to these options. Maybe I want to make my letter bounce or my sprite. So I'm going to click on bounce. Again, here is a video. And this video takes you all the way through. She explains how to make your sprite bounce. So take the time to watch the video. At the end of the video, there's going to be a screen that tells you what your block coding is going to look like. So in the video, she explains what it's doing, how it's working, and now it lets you know exactly what your coding is going to look like. So if I go back to my Scratch here, I want to make M bounce. I can just keep going back and forth here, and I can start adding stuff in. So I want to make it bounce up and down, so I want to change Y. Remember, Y is up and down here. I'm going to change this 10 to 20 because I want it to go up 20. And if I click on this block now, you can see my M is going up. But I also need it to come down. Remember, it's bouncing. Bouncing goes up and down. So I'm going to get the change Y by block again, and I'm going to make this negative 20. And negative 20, the negative in front of there makes it go down. So each time I check on this, it's going to go down. So if I put them together, I've got my block, but it's not really going to do anything yet. I want it to bounce. So I want this to do this more than once. So I'm going to go to the Control tab because that's how I control what my coding is doing. And I'm going to go to the repeat 10 and just put it over there. So now I've told it to repeat this 10 times. But if I click on this, it doesn't look like it's doing anything. But it's doing it so fast that we can't see it. So it's actually working. What we need to do is come in here and put some wait blocks in because we want it to wait a little bit between what it's doing. So I'm going to put a wait block in before, and I'm going to put a wait block in the middle. So now if I hit this, see, it's doing it, but it's really slow, right? I want it to bounce a little quicker, not be sluggish. So I'm going to change the wait time to 0.1 on the first one and to 0.1 on the second one. Now if I click on it, see, it does a little better. But I want to go up higher. So I'm going to change this to 35. And then I'm going to make this negative 35. And now let's see what it's going to do. It's still not really bouncing too well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to here and see what am I doing. So I've got 0.1, change Y, 0.1, change Y. So if I come back here, oh, you see this right here? I don't have that entered right. That's called debugging. When you are doing your coding and if it's not doing what you want it to do some digging, figure out what is going on. So on mine, I just don't have this entered correctly. It needs to be 0.1. Now, it's bouncing. Yes. I want it to play a sound when it's bouncing though. So I'm going to come over here to the sounds tab here in Scratch. And then at the bottom on the left-hand side, I've got different sounds I can choose. And there's lots of different sounds. You can see up here, there's some wacky one. Let's do the boing bing. And this is what it's a little crazy. Sounds like something from Saturday morning cartoons, right? So I've got my sound shows. I'm going to come back to my code tab here. And now I'm going to go down to sound. And I want it to play a sound. And I want it to do it. Let's see, where is it asking me to put it at? So I'm going to go back to my CS first. Once it between the first wait and the change Y. First wait, change Y. I've gotten the right spot. So now I'm going to run the code again to make sure it's still doing what I want it to do. Okay. So I've got something going on here because it's not doing it the way where I want it to do it. So if I come back here, oh, it starts sound. So I picked the wrong block. So I'm going to come back here. I had play sound until done. So I don't want that. So I'm just going to drag down, and then I'm going to just drag that over and get rid of it because that's not what I wanted. Then I'm going to put this back up in there so I can just drag and drop to move my coding around. I want to start sound right here. So now let's run our code and see what it's doing. So, and if you don't like that sound, you can go change it. Grab a different sound. And then come back to the coding. Right here, start sound. You've got this drop down arrow. And now I want the basketball bounce. Now let's see what it does. Yeah, I like that a little better. So now I've got my coding done, but I have not told the computer when to run it. And that is very important. If you don't have an event code, then your computer doesn't know when to play. So the event code is right here. And most of the videos in CS First have you do it when the sprite is clicked, and that's fine. My preference is the when the green flag is clicked because I like a lot of chaos, and so I want my coding to go all at once. So I'm going to move this over here when the flag is clicked, and when I play the flag, it's going to automatically do it. So I've got my coding on my M. You want coding on all of your sprites. So let's go back to the A, and I need to put some coding on this sprite. So to do that, I can come back here to my CS First, I can scroll down and I can choose another option. So let's do the change color. Again, you want to watch the video, and at the very end of it, it tells you how to change the color. So if I click on here, let's see, I'm going to go to looks and change color here. If I go to events, if I go to when this sprite is clicked, now every time I click this sprite, you can see it changes color. Okay. So you can use any of the events that you want on here. If you want to see what your project is going to look like, you're going to click on this full screen icon here. And if I click my go, there my name is going. And if I click on my sprite A, you can see it's changing. So I've completed coding. So when you're working on your assignments, I'm going to go back to my working area. When you're working on your assignment, you want at least 4 to 5 sprites that you're animating. That's what I look for when I'm grading these sprites. There's lots of different things you can do. Make sure you always do the file save now so you have it saved. But here in CS First, here's your eText. Here's all the different things you can make your sprites do. So try to have fun with it. And when I go in and grade, I will actually be going into Scratch and viewing your actual project. So I have a lot of fun grading them. So that is an overview of Scratch and how to do it, how to use the eText, and how to do some coding. So have fun, and I'll catch you on the flip side.